We could please start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first thing on the agenda, I'd like to get a motion to approve the amended agenda as supplied.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, comments on that? All in favor of the approval of the amended agenda presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, I've got the sign-in sheet. We've got quite a few people here in attendance tonight. I do not have anybody signed up that wishes to speak on any agenda items. So at this point, we're going to move forward to item number 4, recognition for the DCMS students and staff. Ms. Allard.
Nope, not that. It's okay. You're doing great. Do you want me to stand up and then they'll walk to you? I'll come and give it.
Yeah, okay. Staff or students first, no preference?
Whichever you prefer.
Okay. We'll start out with our students.
There you go.
We'll go for staff. So what we decided was to recognize one student per grade that we have in our middle school. So 1 6th grader, 1 7th grader, 1 8th grader. And we are graced to have all 3 in attendance tonight, which is awesome. So I will first start with our 6th grade student. So our first student to recognize is 6th grader Brayson Arnold, who earned a perfect score on his English language arts checkpoint number 1. Across all of his classes, Brayson is consistently described as a thoughtful, hardworking, and positive student. His teachers note that he contributes strong insights during discussions, clearly explains his thinking in ways that help his classmates, and approaches each subject with responsibility and enthusiasm. Brayson performs well in every content area, follows expectations, and sets an excellent example for his peers. Yay.
Hi, Papa. I know you're watching this.
All right, our next student to recognize is 7th grader Reagan Michael. Reagan is always on task, gives her best effort, and shows every day that her education is important to her. She is respectful, dependable, and quick to offer help to others. Her leadership extends beyond the classroom as well. Reagan is actively involved in athletics and serves on student council, where she continues to be a positive role model for her peers. Congratulations to Reagan. It's your moment. I think we can stay here. Grayson's really enjoying the camera. So.
You can be in front.
Lastly, our 8th grade student to recognize is David Lawrence Jr., who earned also a perfect score on his English language arts checkpoint number 1. David is exceptionally intelligent and approaches learning with focus and intention. Though often quiet, he is a deep thinker who pays close attention to detail, processes information thoughtfully, and asks higher level questions that connect ideas and extend class discussions. He is meticulous and diligent about his academic performance and has clear goals set for his future, demonstrating maturity and purpose in everything he does. Congratulations.
And at this time, we're going to pause for a minute to take pictures with our students. We're going to gather over in the corner over there.
It's a good routine. want to join us? He's new to the group. We'll get
Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. There we go. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, next up, we're gonna recognize 3 of our staff members. First up, we are going to recognize Jackie Feeney. Jackie supports both our building and DCHS with exceptional consistency and care, and her impact is felt every day. She maintains steady communication with administrators and families, keeps routine medications and health records organized, and participates in meetings whenever her expertise is needed. She cares for every student and staff member with professionalism, compassion, and calm reliability. Without her, our building would be lost. We are truly fortunate to have her on our team. Thank you.
Stay up here.
Next up, we are going to recognize Curtis Appleton. Our head custodian is the driving force that keeps our building operating smoothly day after day. His strong sense of accountability, efficiency, and dedication sets a high bar for our school. He communicates reliably, handles every responsibility with care, and approaches each challenge with determination. His impact is visible in every corner of our building. We are proud to have him working alongside us at DCMS.
Thank you.
And our last staff member to recognize is Amanda Armstrong. Our choral director goes above and beyond, taking on the additional roles of musical and play director while still giving her full energy to her choral program. She performs alongside her students during concerts, meets regularly with her choral leadership team, and consistently brings fresh ideas to the table. She involves students in marketing and fundraising efforts, giving them real ownership and pride in their work. Her dedication is centered on supporting students who have a passion for the fine arts, and her impact on our program is unmistakable. Congratulations again. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
3 times to see it. Yep.
All right, time for a picture.
Oh.
You'll get some every time.
Well, maybe he just likes it.
One, two, three.
There we go.
Smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more, smile, Curtis. There we go. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you so Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Nice, thanks. Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations to everyone who was recognized. Pretty exciting there. We are going to get ready to continue along with the meeting. I know a lot of people have already snuck out, but this is your time if you do want to get out of here. If not, we welcome you. We have a decent little list of things to go through tonight. So at this point, I would like to recess the regular meeting for a public hearing for the additional appropriations. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure that you have provided your name and address. At this specific hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes. The topic be limited to the proposed appropriation of the bond's proceeds. Pursuant to the Indiana Code, before a school corporation can appropriate any dollars it directly receives as a GO bond proceeds, it must conduct a hearing on those proceeds for the additional appropriation of those funds. The notice of this additional appropriation hearing was published as legally required. We will now open up the public hearing. Remember, if you would like to speak, please sign in on the sign-in sheet, which is located in the back of the room, which I do have up here. So if anybody decides that they would like to speak, we can modify that. As mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name and address and limit your comments to the proposed additional appropriation of the bond proceeds. Keep any comments to 3 minutes and avoid being repetitive. At this point in time, I did not have anybody that signed in to speak about this. Is there anybody that would like to? Okay. All right. So hearing none with no public to comment at this point, I would like to move forward. Dr. Moore, could you please summarize the additional appropriation resolution?
Absolutely. The additional appropriation resolution provides the approval of the school corporation to appropriate the funds for the proposed project in the same year in which general obligation bonds are issued.
Okay. With hearing that description, I would like to get a motion to approve the additional appropriation resolution as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving forward to the final bond resolution, Dr. Moore, can you please summarize that?
Yes, the final bond resolution contains the project cost, maximum interest rate, and other financial terms, such as the first interest payment date and maturity dates of the bonds, all with respect to the issuance of general obligation bonds. This resolution also approves the registrar and paying agent for the repayment of the bonds.
Okay. In hearing that, I'd like to get a motion to approve the final bond resolution as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor of the final bond resolution as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, at this time, I will close the appropriation hearing and reconvene the regular meeting. All right, on the agenda here, we're on to number 6 now. We have consent items. I'd like to get a motion to accept consent items A, the minutes for the October 13th, 2025 board meeting. 6B, the minutes for the October 27th and November 3rd public hearing. 6C, monthly and payroll claims. 6D, the approval of the monthly financial report as submitted by the treasurer. And also 6E through Q, which includes a couple resignations, recommendations for new hires, and we have some fundraisers and facility usage requests here as well. So I'd like to get a motion for the approval of 6A through Q consent items as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of item number 6, consent items A through Q as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, moving forward here, Ms. Allard has a presentation for the DCMS for school culture.
All right, come back. Hello. So when Ms. Shiflett and myself and Monica Gaynor, our counselor, were kind of brainstorming different things that we wanted to share, our biggest focus was on our culture, just with our staff and with our students, and just, why it's fun to come to work every day. So it's dedication, it's culture, it's mindset, and then you have that support. So within our building, we have 4 different committees that our staff are a part of. They, at the beginning of the year, get to kind of rank their top 3 to be a part of. So our wellness committee really focuses on the staff and just general overall wellness, like how can we improve, how can we make the day, how can we share, tips and advice. In the past, we've done like a walking group. So not just our physical wellness, but also our mental wellness as well. And just, again, keeping that enjoyment in coming to work every day. Our homeroom challenge committee, they meet and they plan what our homerooms participate in on Wednesdays when our classes are just a little bit shorter with the late start. And all of the challenges are all created based on team building, community outreach, anything along those lines to strengthen our students and really their connection with the outside world and then with connection with each other. Our student incentives, this is also in the next slide here in just a moment, I'll show the big part of that is our Oracle store. And so I will have it open for when you exit if you want to pop in. But this is really encompassing how can we celebrate students? The big, the small, all of the in-between, how can we celebrate students throughout the entire school year? And then our fundraising committee is our newest committee. It was new last year. And so what was happening with our wellness and our homeroom and our student incentives, we had all these great ideas. We didn't have a way to fund, maybe there were materials that were needed for the homeroom challenge. Maybe there were prizes that we wanted to give out for, different games and things that we do within our wellness. And same with the student incentives. So the fundraising committee is created to basically kind of fund those other committees to be able to do all those fun things and to provide for not only our staff, but for our students. So the big one is the Pacers outing. So it gets families out, but it's an opportunity to kind of get out of Delphi and then also participate in that. And then the proceeds for part of that ticket can come into our school. So this is just a snapshot of our Oracle store. I have had a lot of fun with this. It was one of the first kind of tasks that I came in when I was an assistant principal. So our Oracle bucks, they can be rewarded to students that are in the middle. We have 1s and 3s. And this could be for anything. It could be for not only positive behavior, kindness, it could be, growth oriented where maybe somebody really tried their hardest and, it may not have gotten that A, but for them, they improved greatly. I give them out a lot during lunch. Also, we have like Friday trivias that we'll give out. And it's just fun. Again, something to kind of motivate students. And then obviously once a month they can come and use those bucks or they can save up for maybe a larger item. And so we do kind of holiday themed stores as well. And it's just really fun. The kids just get to be kids and the conversations are hysterical. Usually we have some music going in the background and it's a fun way for students to see both myself and Ms. Shiflett out of that administrator role and really just kind of having fun. Part of the wellness this year, and Amanda was a big part of that we called up earlier, was creating the coffee bar, just to have a different variety. There's teas, there's coffee, there's creamers in the fridge, but that was a big goal that they had last year. And it helped that we had, new carpet and new paint and everything in our lounge. And so we were like, well, we got to add to it. So Amanda and I worked on that together. And every single week, similar to how Mr. Long would do it, I kind of followed that lead because it works. And it's just fun that each week there's an awesomeness of a staff member, of any staff member in our building, just to kind of shout out anything that was, awesome. And then that's shared out with the entire middle school staff. And then obviously we celebrate our staff birthdays because why not? We need to. It's fun. Something else that we do to add to our culture, we love Spirit Weeks. We love Spirit Weeks in the middle school. I think partly because at middle school age, they're super cool and they, don't want to do that. But then they see the staff do that and they're like, okay, maybe it is kind of like, maybe we can. So we've started to see a little bit more buy-in with the Spirit Days. College Go Week was a huge one that is sponsored by our student services. And there's different activities and trivia questions throughout that week. Same thing with the Red Ribbon Week. Our SAD group of students really planned that out. And so it's just really great to see, again, the groups of different students coming together and having a little bit of fun. So you gotta have that. One thing, again, when I came in as the assistant a few years ago, I love appreciation days. Like I put them in my calendar before the year starts. It's definitely a necessity. And it's just fun to share out, even if it's just a little picture. And sometimes there's little deliveries of like favorite candies and different little treats here and there, depending on A, if I have time, and B, if I can find you, which I had to track Colby down with his. But it is just fun to recognize as a whole staff that day is meant for, appreciating those people that you work with. Day in and day out. Obviously, we want to celebrate them every single day, but it's nice to have a highlighted day throughout the year just to kind of focus on them and appreciate them. So a big one is our Teacher Appreciation Week. Obviously, this was from last year. So this past spring, when we did it, we made it game show oriented. Pretty much because I love game shows, but it was fun. And then we have some sort of food each day. So in the staff lounge, we set it up. It's all decorated, but we can go to the next slide and it'll be, so Price is Right. I mean, come on, you have to. So each day was themed for a different game, like game show. And all the teachers' names, all teachers, even if they had just one section of middle school, their name was up on the board in their little Price is Right sign. And then we partnered with Mitchell's. And so that was a big kickoff to our week last spring. And it was great. It was just great to partner with local restaurants and then also just to spoil our staff. And yes, it is Teacher Appreciation Week. We have the entire staff participate. Everyone is included, support staff to custodians to anyone that walks in and if their staff like, hey, we've got food in there, come on over, like, come on in. So I think that's also a huge part of our culture is that, we all have our different positions. We're all in different areas, but I think at the end of the day, we are all working alongside each other to provide it, whether it's a space, transportation, or education for our students. So this was also another part of that week. So yes, I did help contribute to making the Plinko board. It was trial and error in the Allard house, and it was only a couple arguments, but it was successful. And then just for fun, I had up on the front wall when you walk in, pictures of staff members and their middle school era. And so that was comical for several, if not all of our middle school students. And Hoover just happened to be the first one that I pulled up. So that's what those like zoomed in picture looked like. So another thing that we do monthly to add to our culture, and we just had one last Friday, is that every single month we celebrate students. We bring them into the cafeteria during their homeroom period. And each teacher can nominate 1 to 2 students. And again, it doesn't have to be, the student that's getting the straight A's and performs well, studies well, all the things. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And so I'm really proud of our staff and really recognizing the strengths and really looking at the big picture of who we can recognize and there's a couple familiar faces that were here tonight. So it's really fun to be able to bring them up, even though they dread having to take a picture with me. We make it happen. And then we post it up in the bulletin board in the 7th grade hallway. So it's just constantly a reminder of, oh yeah, I was recognized for that. That felt really good. And then something new this year, because we were hanging stuff all over the building and it was like super chaotic and it was hard to focus on all of the things, which were great. So we got some bulletin boards that are in the same location all the time for student shout outs. We added in the birthday. So each morning when they're announced on our morning announcements, if they've had a birthday, whether it's over the weekend or during that week, then they can come down to the birthday corner. And yes, middle schoolers are thoroughly enjoying this. They won't admit it, but they totally are. And then we'll do half birthdays for our summer kiddos, so that way everyone can be included. And then the last few slides are really just some snapshots. I think it's fun to see pictures of just what life is like here. So we had a tailgate that we had a raffle. We partnered with the athletics and the athletic boosters, and they donated some items to be able to raffle for our students. We had 2 of our newest teachers grilling the hot dogs. We had Mr. Dennison DJing. He was out there, and it was just really, really fun. It was a kickoff for, it was a football game, a volleyball game, all the things. So it's just fun. Again, another activity for kids. The picture on the left was today. I changed. But yeah, we had a great time. There were about 4 people total that dressed up. Those are 3 of us, but that's okay. And I embarrassed more than just my own kids, which I didn't know I could do that until today. And then just some fun pictures of staff. And then obviously this is last spring, we love a good pie in the face, except it's very sticky and makes a mess. And Curtis doesn't love it, but we put down the tarp and we were good. Lots of fun things. And then just this year, just some classroom things from different activities. And then right in here, they just kind of gathered together and included everybody to play Uno for whatever time they had left in their class. And it was just fun to see them be kids. And I think that's it. So snapshot of the culture here at DCMS.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Those are just the things that we don't see. So it's always nice to see those. All right. Next up, Mr. Dale. He has an athletics report for us.
Not that recording. Just a quick brief couple points from the report. Locker room progress, the project from last month's progressed well. We've got the PO process done. They've actually received their deposit, I believe, already. I know that had already been put in to be transferred last week. So we've approved the bathroom stall covers or colors, and we're just waiting on official drafted drawings so that they can then manufacture them and bring them in. As far as I know, we're still on target for that early January type install, and I think it'll be about a week. So we should be able to shuffle everybody around to make that work. Carroll Swim, we've helped them out every year I've been back. From what I've heard, many years before that in a row, where their pool just doesn't cooperate with them. They're coming in, but now they're scheduled 3 times a week, just so that they can keep their kids practicing until their pool's back up. But it's just kind of some goodwill we're doing for our neighbors. Girls wrestling invite, I do have kind of final numbers from Saturday. It was a huge success again. That's the 2nd year we've been able to do that. We had around 300 people paid in the door, 15 teams, 135 girls got to wrestle. So for a new sport, that's a pretty awesome day to be able to put that on. And then finally, because I didn't have boys basketball numbers official, they started today. We had 24 practice, so kind of the last number that I didn't have to give you at that point. So right now, we're off and running for the winter.
All right. Thank you. Okay. The next report, superintendent's report. Dr. Moore.
Number 1. Okay, well, I have been since arriving working on strategic planning. And so part of this was collecting surveys. This included community members, staff, students. Part of the strategic planning process also included, I had listening sessions this last week, and one in the evening and one on Saturday morning. In addition to that, I have focus groups that are meeting in about 2 weeks. And then also I'm meeting with staff and administration. So just trying to capture, everyone's thoughts and ideas as we plan for the future. So I thought it was important to share part 1 here, the survey results, and just highlight a few points from that. So first we had 129 responses. So you can see that was overwhelming with parent guardian responses. We had student participants, about 48. I included 6th through 12th graders in this survey. So first asking the question, and if you took the survey, then you saw some of these questions, the overall climate and culture of our schools. So this is broken down by adults and students in graphs. 1 would be needs improvement, to 5 would be excellent. So again, looking at the overall, themes and wanting to make sure that we are, paying special attention to, areas that are strengths and areas that we need to work on. So what do you see as our greatest strengths? That was a question. I try to keep open-ended questions to make sure that really just capturing what everyone's thoughts and ideas are. So first and foremost, our caring and dedicated staff. And so I think it's great, Ms. Illard, that you were already focusing on, our staff, and they do need to be celebrated. So that is overwhelming, the response for caring and dedicated staff. Also, our family and small school atmosphere. I think that is one of the first things I heard, coming to Delphi is we're a family, and just really the strength of having small school atmosphere. Everyone knows, everyone's name, personalized learning, and just the strong relationships between our staff and our students. And also our strong pride and support, making sure all of our students are thriving. So what areas could we improve in? So as much as we want to celebrate those strengths, there are areas that we do, need to focus on. And one is communication and consistency. Receive some feedback about, especially the parent square. I know a lot of people have really appreciated that. But again, just wanting to make sure that we're being timely with our communication. There's always room for improvement. Staff retention is a big one. We want to make sure we keep the great people we have here. And so that's something that, I know we're working hard on, and I feel we did a great job with our most recent contract with the union. And, we want to continue to recognize all staff and make sure that they feel appreciated. And the student experience and learning environment. We're always looking to make sure we're addressing student behavior, preventing bullying prevention, and overall, looking at our facilities, we want to make sure we're paying attention to all areas. So how satisfied are you with the quality of academics and student programs? Again, broken down by adults and students. 1 being very satisfied, 5 being very unsatisfied. So what programs or services do you think are most important for our students? And number 1 came up as career, technical, and life readiness. So most commonly known as CTE, focusing on dual credit, and early exposure to career pathways. So that was number 1. Number 2, mental health and student support services. And so, we are fortunate to have, counselors, social workers in every single building, but of course we want to continue providing as much as we can so that all students feel valued and seen. And number 3, arts, extracurriculars, and enrichment. So our arts program, which there's a performance this weekend, if you haven't heard about it, Band Geeks, I plan to be there. Our athletics, our clubs, we want to make sure we are providing opportunities beyond the school day for all students. Are there programs or services you feel are missing or could be improved? So 1 is academic support and enrichment. I've heard, rigor, high ability, enrichment. That is an area we want to focus on. Yes, helping our students that need intervention, but we also want to enrich our students as well. Number 2, student services and support systems that I know we already hit on with mental health, but looking and making sure that we are, pulling students when needed, academics, behavior, mental health, also before and after school care, child care, that's something else I'm going to talk about tonight, and making sure that we're intervening early. We don't want to wait until a student is in middle school to receive services. We want to make sure we're addressing their needs right away. And 3, career life skills and extracurricular expansion. So we are always looking to expand on our CTE, our dual credit. We've been meeting even with universities talking about how we can expand our programming. And we want to teach our kids life skills. So we know the importance of, financial preparation. We want them to have, practical learning experiences to beyond, 12th grade. How effective is our communication? Adults and students, again, broken down. 1, very satisfied. 5, very unsatisfied. So then in a survey, it was asked the top 5 priorities for the next several years here. We're planning, 3 to 5 years with our strategic plan is number 1, recruit, retain, and support exceptional staff. I mean, staff really make, I feel, who we are here at Delphi. We have great people, and we want to make sure, again, as I've already stated, we want to keep the people that we have, but we also, want to embrace new amazing staff as well. Number 2, academic excellence and student achievement. Looking at, again, thinking about extensions, enrichment, but also CTE, but we want to improve our academic rigor and overall real world readiness. And student well-being and safety, and that's number 3. So again, continuing the mental health supports, the counseling access. Number 4 is modern facilities and learning environments, updating our overall facilities, furnishings. We want to make sure this feels like home to our students and our families. And then number 5, communication, culture, and community connections. So we are trying to promote Oracle Pride, not just within the buildings, but also through social media and with our community. What do you want students to experience, learn, or achieve by the time they graduate? I think this is great. So our students, as they leave us as a proud Oracle. Number 1, master core academics and thinking. So academics is number 1. That's what came up across in our themes. Number 2, be life and career ready. So again, this is, looking beyond high school, whether that's college, whether that's the trades. And then number 3, lead with character, belonging, and community. What challenges or barriers do you see that could affect our district's success? Number 1 is funding. And I would say that would be not just on a local level, but state level as well. Number 2, enrollment, facilities, and community capacity. So we appreciate being small, but we welcome growth as well. And we want to ensure that we are planning for the future with upgrading, our facilities. We want to make sure we are investing, long-term planning. And number 3, culture, communication, and consistency. So making sure that we have the shared vision, not just from the district office, but across all school buildings, through all staff, and throughout our community. So any other ideas for the district as we plan for the future? Number 1, strengthen community culture and connection. So, in the monthly newsletters, we have it happening from the district level, from the school level, making sure that we are, highlighting our students, our staff. We want to make sure that our families are involved, current families, alumni. Number 2, support, retain, and empower staff. Making sure, part of the strategic planning is I've offered to meet with every staff member, in the district in groups, and I do want everyone to feel and be part of the plan that we're creating. And then number 3, innovate for growth and opportunity, expanding childcare, improving facilities. And that's the end. So I hope you saw some common themes. Again, just want to be very transparent with, the survey results. Part 2 will be that I'll be sharing results from my listening sessions that I just finished, the focus groups that are coming up, and then also staff and admin meetings. Also, it's important to note, I don't want to forget one of my favorite groups, which would be the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. I think that's a big piece is making sure that our students are part of giving their feedback, their thoughts and ideas. I mean, Delphi is their place, and they should feel like they have a say in our plans for not just now, but for the future. So thank you. Any questions?
I'll just make a comment. I think the data is pretty impressive to see that much of a response on the first go around. I know obviously we could get more, but the amount of people that actually replied to those surveys, a lot of people, when they get a survey, they don't answer. So I guess I would applaud our group of answering questions for us. So
I agree with you. I was very pleased.
all right. Well, thank you for all of that.
I'm going to continue with another presentation.
She gets the floor again.
I don't usually present all the time at board meetings, so this is my time. So I do want to, again, be transparent about some things that we're talking about, and this is in the works. And this is looking at our community's needs for child care and early childhood education. And so one of the things that I noticed coming to Delphi, and this has come up frequently in conversation for looking at growth, would be looking at childcare and early learning and also housing. So those were some things that I, heard, coming in the door, and just wanting to make sure that we are being partners. I think it's really important for our school district to be partners with our community, and we should be supporting each other. So the goal would be is that, we're looking at students from birth to 12th grade. And so it's been recognized that we have, more and more families that do struggle to secure childcare or to secure early learning opportunities, such as through preschool. And so when we have a solid foundation from birth, then students are more successful when they enter traditional school beginning in kindergarten. And so the goal would be is how can we as a school district support, our youngest learners to ensure they have a successful future no matter what their dreams are. So the goal would be is that we are putting this plan together. The goal would be by August, so the start of the next school year. And so we do have Camden, which right now, I would say is underutilized. And so the goal would be to fully utilize Camden. And currently, our pre-K and our kindergarten are separated between Camden and Delphi Community Elementary School. And so as a former kindergarten teacher, I can tell you that it is a challenge when you are part of a team and you're wanting to work together to support all students' needs. And so we have the space at Camden to bring together our students who are at Delphi Community Elementary School so that we can house all preschool and kindergarten students within Camden. We also would be able to house our developmental pre-K classroom that is currently at our elementary school. And we also within Camden support our Head Start program. Here is a map of what that looks like and how we could utilize the space. And the benefit of having all of our early learners together is the support that we can provide too through outside agencies. And so we have already spoken to some area agencies such as, Purdue has offered and to support us and our development with our programming. And it's really valuable to have professional development at all levels, especially our early learners, because their needs are so different. Also providing those early interventions, as I spoke to, we don't want to wait till they're in 5th grade. We want to be able to support our students early on. So right now we are looking at some upgrades that we are looking for support from. I will say I'm gonna give a shout out to Jennifer Roth for being here. She has really assisted in connecting me with some people in our community. And we are working on gaining access to some funding opportunities. That is the hope, so that we can support this dream and make it happen. So that would bring our facility up to full capacity. I know some people have asked, well, why don't we just build a new building? And I just want to acknowledge that a new building is about $20 million. So when I look at how we can, get Camden back up to where I feel it needs to be, sure, $1.5 million sounds like a lot of money, but $20 million is a lot more money. So I feel this is a good fix. So then the childcare facility. So this would be our dream of having the childcare facility at the elementary school. And so by moving and bringing together our preschool and kindergarten students from the elementary school to Camden, we now have space for a childcare facility. Now, almost everyone has asked me the question, well, why don't we just make the childcare facility at Camden? Well, there's a very simple answer to this, is that the Camden building and the classrooms do not have restrooms within the classrooms. And it is a requirement of having childcare that you do have access to bathrooms. And in case you are not sure how much a new bathroom brand new costs to be built, it's about $500,000. And so that isn't really cost effective. So that was one big factor, is that our elementary school does have bathrooms within classrooms. So there is a section of the building, again, if we are able to move kindergarten and pre-K and combine them into Camden, that now we have the space for the childcare facility. The goal would be from infant to preschool. And this would be an advantage to our staff who have children. It would be an advantage to our community, because again, I know that is something that we are really in need of in our area. Again, the benefits, I just want to highlight a couple other benefits, which would be that there isn't an opportunity or a pathway, we're talking CTE, for our high school students to be able to pursue an early childhood pathway. And we would be the only school district in our area within close proximity for our students to have access to. So this would give an opportunity for our high school students to be part of this program. And this would also allow students from other school districts, because we are part of a cooperative for CTE, to also have access to the child care program. And here is the space right now that we are looking at. If you're facing the elementary school, it would be on the right-hand side of the building, and that would be entering, this is entrance 6 for those of you that know entrance 6. And this would be the outdoor space, the courtyard area. So again, trying to isolate that space and section it off, because that's important for having a separate entrance for drop off, pickup, safety, security. Again, making sure that there's enough space for each of the rooms that would be part of the child care facility. This would be an ideal space. So the child care facility, less to invest in because we already have, the space, we already have the restrooms. So not as much as when we're talking about an HVAC project. But again, that would be the breakdown of the budget. Okay. And this is where I'm working along with Purdue and some other potential funding opportunities. And then the impact. I mean, that is really what we're looking at. Why are we doing this? What is the expected impact? Well, again, it's, we're increasing, looking at literacy, talking about kindergarten readiness, the teacher pipeline, through early childhood education, as I noted, with CTE opportunities, and just being able to support our families, our employees in the area. And that is all. So again, right now we're in this is the idea planning space. This is not a for sure thing that is happening, but I think it's important that, this is shared not only with our staff, but also with our community. Just wanting to make sure everyone is aware of this, of the potential that can be here. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you for my 2 presentations. Is that my cue to go?
All right.
No, my dog was here.
All right, thank you everyone for your reports. Obviously, this is a lot of a good eye opener, no matter whether it's athletics or superintendent's report or even just school presentations, to see as a corporation where we're heading and what we're trying to do. So big things to come if everything falls into place as it can. All right, moving forward now to new business. I'd like to get a motion to discuss 9A, a Staples purchase for $6,998 for copy paper, as well as 9B for Sharp School Services, a spend of $6,582 for the middle school.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
So a regular purchase for copy paper replacement, and then furniture that would be in the fax space that's needed.
Any questions or comments on those 2 items?
Is that copy paper for the whole corporation?
Yes. It is bulk order. We order in bulk. Yep. That's correct.
Okay. All in favor of 9A and B under new business for the Staples purchase for copy paper and the Sharp School Services for the middle school, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, now I'd like to get a motion to discuss 9C, the selling of the 1993 Ford F-450 dump truck.
So moved.
Laura, do you have information on this?
Or an offer?
Or an offer? Yeah.
I don't really have too much other information other than the last 2 times that we have driven it, it has broken down and cost us $420 to tow it back both times. This time the clutch went out on it again. We just replaced the clutch last summer. It's just, the body's falling apart. It's beyond its life expectancy.
I'm impressed with the 286,211 miles on it.
She still runs like a top, but every time you take her somewhere, make sure your phone's charged because you're probably gonna need it.
Is there a plan to replace, or is this just something we're getting rid of?
That's a great question. And the plan is not to replace the truck. The solution that I've spoken about with our director of maintenance is to get a trailer to attach to our trucks when we need to haul anything. So that would be the solution.
So, yeah, that was my understanding, that essentially a dump trailer.
Mhm.
Yeah, it doesn't have a clutch.
It doesn't have a clutch.
Yeah, a little bit cheaper than a truck, I'll say that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
$269.
But the truck itself at this point has become a liability and it's beyond its life expectancy. I can take photos just like we do the buses and post it on public surplus for sale as is, and somebody will come and take it away one last
They'll be
time.
thrilled with it.
They will be.
Okay,
Said,
thank
she's a
you.
great old machine, she's old and time to go.
Mhm.
All right,
Are there any other questions about it?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of 9C, selling the 1993 Ford F-450 dump truck, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 9D, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the signage for the DCMS and DCES schools.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
So this is something that I've worked with Mrs. Allard and Mr. Hawk on. The high school currently has a digital sign, and we'd like to add the same to both of those campuses. And so they have done some research and looked at different electronic signs. You'll see all of the quotes attached. And Mrs. Allard, I'll let you make your recommendation for which sign company both of you felt strongly about.
Do you want me to go there in my
You're okay.
We ended up finding that it was golden signs. That would be the most cost effective. We were communicating, actually Mr. Hawk communicated, and we were all in the email to just make sure that as far as like, installation, things like that, everything was covered. And so it included in that cost. So that was our most communicative group, I would say. We ended up getting 4 different estimates to then make the most decision as far as which company to go. I think Golden Rule Signs is what it was. And so that's what we decided to do based on the consistent communication and making sure that all of our answers were questioned and that we were going in with no blind spots.
Can you tell us the cost of each one for the public, just for public record? I have it, but
Do you not have it on that?
the one is 18,775 and 67 cents.
It's like the
And
middle school's 20,290
Yep.
and 46
Okay.
cents.
I think that was a little bit higher on the middle school end, just to make sure that we can have power with.
right, you've got
a little
power
bit
at the
further
one.
than-
Yeah,
than
power's already
the
on.
other building.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, the current sign would be bye-bye, and the new sign would replace that. And it is falling apart, and our student council does a phenomenal job at filling in the letters, but it's broken on one side, it doesn't lock, and the letters, we can't update it in real time. And I think that would be being able to drive by any of the schools and have immediate messages that can go out for families, I think would be very, very important.
That's my biggest question. Who's gonna keep the signs updated?
Right now, the principal does it in the high school.
So building principals, most likely.
Yeah, and partnering with our secretaries, like if there are immediate things that can go out there, I think, based on what we've been, looked into this, the software is very easy to use. So,
And I'd like to make one more note on that update. When our high school is playing a team, I'd like to have them have a welcome sign when they come in to play. Would that be possible that they could welcome Rossville Hornets or something like that? I mean, we've never done that, but I would like to see something like that. I mean, it's all about sportsmanship. And I think that would be a good sign of sportsmanship if we would welcome our teams in. Just a thought.
I would assume you have the technology that you can change it on an instant here, right?
but yeah, it would be, and I think as long as that particular building whether it was high school, middle school, elementary, because I know there's several middle school athletics that,
I know there's things going on at the same time, but
so I think, if there was some, just some guidelines as far as what that looks like, I think that could be easily included. As long as there weren't multiple activities all at once and we didn't leave anybody out, I think that could be a possibility for sure.
that's just a thought. I'd like to see that.
That's great.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of 9D for the new signage for DCMS and DCES as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, 9E under new business, I'd like to get a motion for the approval of the classified staff wage increase as recommended.
Mr. President, I move to, for the recommendation of our classified staff wage increase.
Second.
All right, Dr. Moore?
As we have, settled upon our teacher contract and have given raises to our certified staff, it's important to also recognize our classified staff. And so this would consider our school building classified staff, transportation department, maintenance, food services, and also our SRO.
I will abstain.
Okay.
I
All right.
think, I think we did a good job of taking care of our teachers this year and the classified staff. Did we do anything for our substitute teachers, like give them $5 to $10 more a day?
We have not discussed substitute teacher pay.
It's something we can do in the future.
Of course.
Because everybody has been taken pretty good care of. They're an important part of our team. We need them. And it'd be nice to recommend them, just give them an extra $10 a day.
Yeah, I'm happy to do an analysis of our area school districts and bring that back to our next meeting.
What's the total cost on this proposal?
That is a great question, and that is approximately $137,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Our maintenance director, is he currently 260 days?
That is correct. He's a year-round employee. Mhm.
Okay. All in favor of 9E, the classified staff wage increase as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, 9F, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the classified handbook amended holiday listing.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
We had listed many paid holidays that would be traditionally paid, and so looking for the addition of Labor Day.
Any questions? Okay. All in favor of 9F, the classified handbook amended holiday listing as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, 9G, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the 2026-2027 calendar recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
This is the time of year we want to start planning and preparing for the next school year. So I've spoken to area superintendents to try to coordinate our schedules. I've also asked for input from our Teachers Association as well as our admin team. This is very similar to this year's calendar with some minor adjustments.
I think something we might want to consider, I'm not suggesting a change of this at all. But in the future, maybe like for October 15th and 16th, switch those two items around. 15th, we got Parents' Day, and 16th is kids, and it's an e-learning day, which is a Thursday. Maybe switch that e-learning day to a Friday and Parent Day, so just switch those 2 days around.
So that did come up in conversation. It is something we discussed, and the struggle with that is families, unfortunately, and I understand, it would be a Friday leading before the fall break. And so we are worried about attendance at our conferences. So that was the struggle with wanting to move from Thursday to Friday. We feel that attendance would be poor. But it was
Are
discussed.
they
so
well attended on a Thursday? Were they well attended this
it
year?
was, yes, they were well attended.
Any other questions or comments with the calendar supply? Okay. All in favor of 9G, the calendar for the 2026-2027 school year, as recommended, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, I'd like to get a motion to discuss 9H. This is watch fire video boards for the high school gymnasium.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dale.
obviously our current gymnasium scoreboards are in need of a lot of attention. We've known that for quite some time. I believe Dick Campbell put them in maybe his first year as AD. That's a throwback. We've had failures along the way prior to me coming back. We've been able to skirt them along the way. I've had spare parts. We've been able to go up sometimes the night of a game and actually swap them out and keep us operational. But I do know a year or two before I came back, there was at least one game where only one board was operational for a basketball game. So those are obviously issues we know. We've done some things along the way to try to make them look better. Just put a Band-Aid on it, swapped out bulbs for LEDs, that kind of thing. So really, this has been a long time needed project. So I know when I came in, maybe the year I came in or the year before, there was a group that came up with a proposal to try to do kind of a big swath renovation, basically hit all the outside facilities we could, as well as the gym, and redo all the scoreboards so that they'd look nice and be operational. Really, it exceeded budget and kind of scope was a little too big to bite at once. So then I went to the drawing board. We decided we're going to go that route, and we've been bargain bin hunting, getting all the university salvage that I can, using local vendors. So we've saved a bunch of money along the way, and really, this I feel is the last potential piece where we can really kind of put a crown jewel on that whole project, and do something that, while we saved a ton of money, really put value into our programs. So the original plan was to put in a big center hung video board, and obviously that was going to look really cool with the way our gymnasium is set up. The more we've looked into it, we had some concerns about that, because when we started looking into the actual numbers, we were within 1 foot of NFHS regulation for play. So you're going to have times that that's going to get hit, it's going to come into play, and that's a concern. I think beyond just a scoreboard, the thing that I think really intrigued people when I came back was that these are something that provide a lot more value than just putting money into a scoreboard. The scoreboard just puts on time and scores. So with the video board, you can do all those things, but you also give your students a chance to showcase some of their creativity with different promotional things, different videos. I've seen schools that do the sportsmanship announcement. Instead of it being an adult, it's the kids from that game actually giving it beforehand. So stuff like that adds value there. It obviously adds a huge value when you look at the other multi-purpose use of that facility, because our gym is kind of the crown jewel of the community. We use it for a lot of stuff. Graduation, we have Veterans Day tomorrow. Those are big community events where we can really put some extra into it. And then obviously, it says athletically, it is nice to be able to have the shiny new thing that we know will work when we turn it on. So those are the positives. When we looked at it and started really going after it, we looked at kind of 4 different big areas: the design of it, what's it going to look like, what's it going to function like, how's it going to help those other things, right? How's it going to help graduation, how's it going to help band when they have a concert in the gym, those types of things, as well as is it going to fit in NFHS regulations, because again, we found that we were barely going to be able to do that with the original plan. We had a rough budget number based on some numbers from corporations. So we said it cannot go over this number. We're going to be under that. Do we have quality service, a manufacturer we trust? What's their proximity to us? Some of these guys are taking parts from China, or Daktronics is in South Dakota. Like that distance, is that going to be a problem for us? And then the flexibility of it. Is this something that we can scale up? We can do more as time goes on? Do we have flexibility to do all these other things? And then do we also have the ability to hopefully extend the life? We're not just turning the same giant thing on all the time. If we don't need to, we can scale it down and be able to extend it hopefully for longer. So we brought 6 vendors to the table: Acorn Bloom, Daktronics, Digital Scoreboards, Nevco, and Watchfire were the 6. And those came through either my own relationships that I've had with them before. Some of my colleagues had said, hey, these guys are really good, talk to them, that kind of thing. So we gave them carte blanche. Said, look, this was the plan we originally had. You come in here, look at the space, tell us what you think is best. And we really just said, come to us with all these ideas. We looked at them all. Some of them had some different kind of creative aspects to it that we really liked. Some of them we didn't. We're like, I don't know if that really fits what we're doing. And started to whittle the process down. Dr. Moore and I and some of the other administrators, we talked through some of this, like, okay, what are some of our concerns? One big concern that came up when we talked to our colleagues was when using third-party vendors that aren't manufacturing their own equipment, they're turned into a lot of, like, Clinton Central's in an issue right now with their third-party vendor where the video board they put in at their football field didn't get installed right. And so now the installer is pointing the finger at the manufacturer, the manufacturer is pointing the finger at the installer, and it's not kosher. They can't get their warranty work fixed. So we kind of had decided at that point, we really need to go with a more reputable, more historical company that has that record to show us we're going to fix something that's our fault. So we kind of eliminated those third-party vendors, which left us with Watchfire, Daktronics, and Nevco. They all fit the needs that we were looking at. And we set up 3 site visits. So we went to Danville, Illinois, where Watchfire's headquarters is. The high school there has all their products, so we were able to go see them, talk to the athletic director that was there, see them in action. They were nice. We were able to see the actual where they were manufactured, which was also very nice to see, to know that we're an hour and a half away if we need parts. Daktronics, which is Lawrence Central, they actually have Nevco and Daktronics. They told us 100% go with Daktronics based on the 2 that they had. Again, their setup we really liked. In fact, that was kind of the direction design-wise we felt we needed to go. That was good to see in person. And we really liked their control unit was really nice, would be good for our people. They're used to Daktronics at this point. And then we went to Tipton where Nevco is. Their stuff looked nice, but they're having serious technical problems. And they have had, and this is a kind of a historical thing for Nevco, their service has really went south in the last 5 years. They've brought all their service in corporate-wise, and so that is a huge concern. They've been for 6 months trying to get stuff fixed, and they can't even get people to answer the phone. So that kind of eliminated Nevco for us. And we said, all right, we got these 2 finalists. Here's exactly what we want and what we need. Bring us a full all-in price was kind of the process. So again, we've eliminated all 5 of these eventually. So Nevco digital scoreboards, Acorn and Bloom. Nevco we eliminated because of the service issue. Digital scoreboards, again, they're a third party. They're close to us and they have a good reputation, but they're a very new company and they're dealing with third party stuff. So that was a concern, especially software. There were some significant fees if you wanted the really good software annually that we didn't really want to look at. Acorn and Bloom, again, third party, but they're more either school tech or audio based. They're not necessarily a video company, so that had some concerns. So Daktronics, unfortunately, because I did really like them, I think they fit a lot of our bill and our people are used to it, but they came in way over budget. We were going to be lucky to be at 180 all in. So that was a concern and kind of led us to the recommendation that we go with Watchfire. They did put a lot of the concerns I had at ease talking to them and seeing them in person. The total investment is $105,939. They have the best warranty by far. They beat everybody by at least 2 years, some were 4. And it includes parts and labor because the installer is one of our local installers that I do have one of the best relationships with the installers. And he's matching whatever they do with parts with labor. So that gives us a full 7 years of fixes. The plan that came out of it, again, there's some pictures I gave you guys in the report of just kind of mock-ups. What the idea is at the moment is we'll have 2 12x7 video boards that'll be diagonally offset in the gym, so they're not right behind baskets or right behind volleyball or whichever the case is, not center, which is kind of the standard style for scoreboards. There'll be 2 virtual shot clocks, and where that came from, a lot of these will install a standard fixed digit board, a small one, so that when you run practice, you can have a practice clock and not have to turn the whole thing on every time you go to run practice. Shot clocks right now are a hot ticket. There's 32 states have adopted it. There's a push to try to win the state. There's some like me who are fighting it as much as we can because Indiana basketball doesn't need it. Our scores are already high enough. They're already the average if you have a shot clock. It's the same. So There's a lot of us that are kind of fighting it because of the cost, but what this does is future-proofs us, because I could see it in the next 2 years being forced onto our hand, being forced. So it future-proofs us and gives us that added functionality where we're not turning on a big board for a practice. They also are including both standard controllers with buttons, and then the tablet function. So depending on which operator we have, you have that dual functionality. Again, those are kind of the gists of it, kind of more detailed. I do think it's a pretty cost effective given the wow factor and the multi-functionality compared to where we were 5 years ago when we had a much, much bigger project and a much, much higher bill. And these guys, I think, I did just find out they actually just sold to Pike. Pike just approved them a week ago. They're doing the same thing at Pike. So I think they're going to probably get a foothold here in the state pretty quick with their customer service and their pricing.
And this is the company that, correct, was Las Vegas Strip?
Yep.
With Fremont Street.
Fremont Street, the video board over Fremont Street, that's
Yes.
theirs. Yep, they've got, they started as a, like, in the 30s as like Times Square type stuff, right? The changing bulbs that would scroll and all that. And then they've just progressed over the years into LED video. In fact, when you talk it into companies, when you drive by most of those video, like the video signage, like just like what they're talking about, most of those are Watchfire products, banks or whatever. Just depending who they're sold. I know Matt here at Skyline, that's one of their big video board companies that they work with too. So.
Chip, is there places on here, I think I called one, talked about this before, there's room for advertising, can you get advertising?
Yeah, so the benefit of going there with video board stuff is that was one thing that we really liked about Watchfire. Like I didn't probably say that well enough, is Daktronics was very rigid in what you could and couldn't do. And it would cost you more money if you wanted more options, whereas Watchfire, it's all virtual. So you can literally carve that screen up however you can creatively come up with it. You can carve it up and put whatever you want in those areas. They can be scrolling ads, they could be fixed ads, they could be video, they could be, they have like, you go to the pregame and they have one video board that just has all the individual player stats. You can put all that stuff, like it's all the only thing that limits you is your creativity.
So we need to get advertising and get revenue coming in the athletic department if you wanted.
Correct.
You got instant replay?
It does not. It does not. That, if you want instant replay, that's like $8,000 a year. That's the cheapest you can do it. And if you want it, the more high-end, like traditional style, you're talking like 50. It's not, that's a one-time fee, but yeah, they're expensive.
Are they talking about reviews?
Nope.
That's trickled down to.
Nope, I don't think so. Just 'cause I think they realize that staffing wise, it's not going to work. Another benefit with them with that virtual side is with us doing a lot of, 2 wrestling mats at the same time, or a middle school volleyball tournament, or middle school basketball tournament. However, we cut the floor up to be able to do multiple events. We can split them and run 2 totally different events at the same time. Or again, because it's virtual, you could cut those in half and actually have 4, 5, 6, whatever you wanted.
In graduation, the benefit of that,
Yep,
focusing in on each student and.
Yeah, so you can have one board that's scrolling through names, one that could be doing literally anything you want it to do. Highlighting the song that the band's playing on one and then the kids' names are on the other. It really had a lot of functionality that we thought was. Again,
So the board's gonna be basically in the same location as the old scoreboards?
the plan would be, I don't know if I gave you that. I didn't give you that picture. It's in the board packet. The plan right now is to go diagonal. So they'd be, instead of being directly behind the basket, you'd be offset to like the 3-point line, would be kind of the 2 spots. So then you don't have 12 foot by 7 foot light shining right down center.
Could you tell us the total cost again you're wanting us to approve?
105,939, I think.
Okay, just for the record. Thank you.
And that is, again, that was another thing that Daktronics was frustrating about, is they did not give us a true number. It was just like, it's gonna be around this. I'm like, I need a number. These guys, again, I have a hard number from Thistle Electric, who's local. I have a hard number from McKean, who's local. He's on the Illinois border, but he's been my scoreboard guy for as long as I've been doing this. He's as far as service goes, we're not gonna get better service than that.
Didn't we use Daktronics on some of the baseball and?
Yeah, so baseball, softball, and the one at Berto, those three were all Daktronics products, but then we used local installers. But yes. Any other questions?
Is there any need to do anything with the school boards at the elementary school?
No, they've been functional. The only issue we've had with, I think long-term, probably it's closer than it's not closed, if that makes sense. But those have been perfectly functional since I've been here. The only issue we had, a horn was going off, but I figured out that was when, a couple months ago, when I told you guys I replaced all those batteries for like $100 as opposed to $2,000 what they were gonna charge us. That was that problem. That battery was messing up the horn.
The reason why I asked is because I know when there's some tournaments, they use that gym down there for, are those good enough for
Yeah, we haven't sent the
like
kitchen.
consolation games and stuff like that?
Yeah, we haven't sent the kitchen down there for the last 2 years. In fact, this year we're doing everything up here too. In fact, all 16 games for the tournament will be up here in 2 days for the girls, and then same thing for the boys. So it'll be 4 days.
So what's the time frame on these boards then?
He is optimistic right now. Their lead times are 6 to 8 weeks. Again, Pike just undercut us and got in right before us. So that'll be one ahead of us. But we are hoping, I was talking to him last week. We are hoping, I've got a gap in the schedule the week of like January 13th. And it's gonna only take them 2 or 3 days to put it up. So we are hoping to have it in kind of right after the Carroll basketball game. I was shooting to try to get it. If we were able to get this in a month earlier, there was a chance we could be ready for the kitchen, but there's not enough time. And then them being only an hour and a half away, they'll be able to deliver quick. So I am confident that we can have them in before basketball section in March. And we're shooting for that January date if we can. But that's a reach.
Did you have a comment?
I was just gonna say, I learned so much about video boards and I think it's great. Just to see where it's, being produced, I stand behind. The quality of what I saw, I would have a hard time, understanding the product without visiting and seeing it. And so I just appreciate that you spent a lot of time, really doing your homework and going back and forth with the vendors just to make sure that we have a great product. So thank you for that.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay, after that presentation, new business 9H. All in favor of the watch fire video boards for the high school gymnasium as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, 9I, I'd like to get a motion for the approval of the Neola policies that we have previously discussed and seen twice. I'm not going to list all these out, but policy 5540 through the 6000s, through the 7000s, all the way down to the last policy, which is the 5771. I'd like to get a motion to approve all of these Neola policies as previously presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we've not had any changes to these, this is everything we've done before. Are there any questions or comments on those? Okay. All in favor of the approval of the Neola policies as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, that gets us through new business. So we've got a couple donations and thank yous. Dr. Moore?
Sure. Clothing for our students. Thank you to the Carroll County Extension Homemakers, and also hats, gloves, socks for our students. Thank you to the Liberty Bells.
Awesome. It's always nice to hear those donations, and obviously we appreciate those very much. Moving forward, future dates and agenda items. Tomorrow, Veterans Day program, 9 a.m. in the gymnasium. So if you haven't had your calendars marked, that is happening tomorrow. Also, December 8th, we have our regular board meeting here at 6:30 in the DCMS Abbey and Libby Memorial Library. Does anybody have a date that they wanted to announce? Okay. All right, board comments. Mr. Swartzstop. I'll let her see how they go first.
No, all right. I'd like to thank everybody that came today. Dr. Moore, appreciate the survey. You're leaning forward and the things you're looking for this corporation and how to move us to the next level in the next peg. Appreciate that. I know it isn't overnight. Welcome to the board tonight. So we'll let you talk a little later, I guess. So staff and students of the month. This is a tremendous, in my book, honor. It's recognize the people that do us well. And so to see, custodians and everybody from bus drivers on up over the period of time it is well deserved. And I love seeing that. And thank you for being a big part of that. Look forward to the future. I mean, some of the things the creativeness there, I'm just going to leave it at that. Jennifer, I got to say thank you for your involvement that hasn't totally quite came out yet, but will. And I really appreciate that. That's right. Fingers crossed, right? But you are a part of this here in the community, and I really appreciate being a past employee coming back and helping this corporation out. Chip, again, I know you've done quite well, right, on helping us get to this point, and to take the time and besides all the other stuff you do, thank you. I know I'm taking up a little bit, but Ms. Zeller, Mr. Hawk, thank you for the signs, for taking that time, for what you're doing here too. When we can show the world what we are, we will increase our numbers. I know that. So I don't worry necessarily about the numbers today. It's more about having people like you and your staff, as well as the rest of the corporation. But to highlight that, I want to do that. Another thing, I wasn't actually on the donations, and I do want to mention that. There's a couple actually, welding donations that we have gotten. I know Twin Lakes has donated some stuff. Zach, you've donated some stuff, I know, through your company. And so some just junk metal that they can weld on has been valuable for our class that was part of up here of the CTE or sending out certified welders at the end of the time of their high school career, and where they can go on into the future and utilize that. I think that's really great. With that, I'm going to stop. I left a little bit for Gil.
I'm trying to think what you might have left.
Well, you was telling me.
Thank you to everybody that's here this evening and the participation. Have to start off with a thank you to the DCTA, the board members that were part of negotiations on the contract, Dr. Moore. That process went very well. And because of that, really able to do some really nice stuff for our teachers. But really, even this evening, being able to recognize classified staff with pay increases is big. And we know we're still not where we want to be with all those, but we're moving in the right direction. And Mike, I second your piece about the substitute teachers. We sometimes forget about those folks that step in every day and do some of the hard work. The child care facility, Camden Early Childhood Care, I love it. I really think it's something that's got so much potential. But right now, we know in Indiana, CCDF dollars, which help pay for childcare, are dried up. They're locked in until 2027. We really have a desert in childcare in this area, or really in the whole state. But that could really fill a gap and a big need. And having it here in the heart of Delphi is really a great idea. At first, I thought, well, that doesn't make sense when we have what we have at Camden. But it actually makes the most sense. So I look forward to seeing how that rolls out and plays out. And Jennifer, thanks for all your work on this, on the grant. Congratulations, staff and students as well. That's so cool to see every month and recognize those folks that are doing some tremendous stuff in the corporation. Mrs. Allard, appreciate the presentation on the middle school. We don't see all that stuff. So really just to know some of the things you're doing is really, really fun. So thank you for taking time to do that. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Nipple.
Once again, I want to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. It's hard to say all the thank yous that everybody and the effort that everybody's put in. Dr. Moore, that was took a lot of time to do those presentations. And I'd like to just thank Coach Markowitz for his time at the helm of the football team. I know he's put in a lot of time, and it's time for him to spend a little more time with his family, I'm sure. So thanks again for everyone. And that's all I've got. So,
Mrs. Mills.
I think I would say thank you to Dr. Moore. I know just seeing the surveys that we've been talking about for a while since I've been on the board, just getting a pulse from the community about where things stand and what is it that we need to set that strategic goal to know not only what we want to have done tomorrow, but the next 3 years, 5 years, et cetera. So I love seeing that. I think it's super impactful for where we go from here. Thank you, Jennifer, for all your support and what that looks like too. And then I think, my day job, we spend a ton of time talking about culture is king. And I thank you all for bringing all that to the table today. I think it's so great to hear that kind of on repeat for what I've seen in the last few board meetings for where we want things to go. You want people to love to come to work every day. I think you all did a presentation a couple of years ago where like 100% of the staff at the middle school felt like they belonged here and that was where they wanted to be. So it's great to see that continue on and, just love to hear where else that's going to go, what that can do. Chip, thank you for all your work on the signs. I think I think that with the electronic signs that are going to go up front, the scoreboard improvements, I think all that stuff matters for when people show up and where they show up to and how proud they are of what this place looks like. So I guess a collective thank you to all of you who are here every day in the trenches doing that work.
Mr. Bruce.
Well, I'm happy for Chip that he finally got his scoreboard. I know you worked so hard on it. Yeah, put your name up there on the
On the back side.
Yeah. I'd like to thank all the students and staff. who
So
were
that one
recognized
takes it
tonight.
down
That's
to years now.
a fun part of our evening. I appreciate Mrs. Allen's comments on what's going on in middle school. Things like the student appreciation, teachers appreciation, the pictures, things like that. It's small, but it's recognized and it's remembered by those that are affected by it. So thank you.
Next week is National Appreciation for Substitute Teachers too.
Oh, you're kidding.
That's a kind of
Didn't know they had
like
that.
I think they're underappreciated.
I'll take them.
I like Dr. Moore's enthusiasm for pre-K and kindergarten. I think you could be on something that could help in the long run on our ADM. I'm sure it will. And I want everybody to remember tomorrow at 9:00 here, we've got our VA program. We have a gym full to appreciate our veterans.
All right, Mr. Stresser.
I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet by echoing everybody's, my fellow board members' comments. And I do look forward to where we're going right now. I'm really excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so I apologize for not announcing our student representative here. So I will let her announce herself and you get to have a comment as well as sitting up here with us. And if you don't have one, that's fine, but.
My name's Kiara Roberts. I'm a senior, and I'm a class co-president with Abby Brown. I think she's been a couple. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you all for having me. It was really nice to see all the insight and everything that goes on. So.
All right, thank you. Okay, to round out, I think the one thing I noticed tonight, we don't have as many people here as we did, but we did have a bunch. It seems like everything that we keep announcing, I see some kind of joy in that group. Whether it's the pre-K thought and hope that we can get this to work, whether it's the scoreboards, Chip, I'm so glad we're gonna get rid of that 2x4 on the south end that I think's holding that scoreboard up. That weirds me out every time. So I do not want it. Maybe you can hang it in your office, Chip.
We'll get it engraved for you.
Remembrance of it, but I'm still not sure why it's underneath that scoreboard. It's got to be doing something. So I mean, obviously, those scoreboards. It's not just a scoreboard. Just think we had those up for tomorrow. What a great opportunity for the Veterans Day program to actually utilize those boards, not just for score. So I guess the way I am going to say tonight's meeting and the last couple we've had are moves, but not just moves, but big moves. We're tired of making moves. Delphi's, we want to make big moves. And I really think it's a collective group here that is tired of making moves. They want big moves. So I'm excited. So I just have one more motion, and that's for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank